from Uganda said that when they started the association, when they called meeting, most of the participants were foreigners. I think that was because the foreigners, they get support from their government, and that's why they are ready to take opportunity. So how are we preparing, but also we could come up with things related to credit guarantee schemes to support this SME who are going to benefit from this project. Maybe I would like also to hear from our National Economic Empowerment Council more on this, on how they are prepared to support especially women, youth, and people with disabilities.
Okay, I'll first ask the National Empowerment person to say what they are doing about that. I would also like to ask Engineer Batumbia, as a person who is providing goods and services, can you share with the audience whether he's doing anything about technology transfer? Can we start with you? You want him to start? No, it's okay. You start. You are official, you know.
Thank you. Yeah, on the issue of preparing our SMEs to access finance, and most of the time this is one of the it seems to be a very challenging aspect when we are talking about the business growth in our country. Access to finance, yes, it's a challenge, but the availability of finance is not a challenge. We have almost 40 commercial banks across the country with a lot of funding there, but what is the challenge is the conditions on how to access. So in our case, on the side of the government, we have the guarantee frameworks, various funding in various ministries, which also we are privileged as the National Economic Empowerment Council to coordinate. And one of our roles is to see how this fund can be accessible to various groups, as it was also designed to be. So in terms of women, we have a Women Development Fund under the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, whereby now we are seeing some increment in terms of the allocation. It's working under it's getting funds from the ministry, but also some allocation of revenue from all the local government authorities. So women, they're accessing funding on that, but that is not enough. What also we are looking in terms of how we can engage more the financial institution across the country to have a more empowering financing strategies, because this is becoming a challenge. And I think we need more dialogue to see how we can provide more leadership in terms of the central bank, but also the National Economic Empowerment Council, so that we can unlock some of the barriers in terms of the access to finance. So to me, that's what I can share to you.
Thank you, Engineer Batumbia, the man on the ground. Are you seeing any technology transfer?
Yeah, sure. But before I go there, let me just add on the local content as we have it in Uganda. Mr. Chairman, you know that these roads that we do, the oil roads, the airport that we're doing, all these physical infrastructure have the materials extracted locally. And our like Mr. Masanja, Engineer Masanja, yes, was saying, we make sure that the challenge is to make sure that the owners of these materials are being paid and the right amount. And that's very important, because if you miss it, the contractor would like to maximize his profit. He will pay nothing and be quite happy to get on with the work. So one of the things that we are doing here is to make sure that the RAP, the Resettlement Action Plan people, go in, they make value, they do a lot of estimates, and they put it to the government valuer for approval. And before these people are paid, nothing can be extracted. In that way, Ugandans are getting quite a bit of money in the places where there's this footprint. They are not only getting the roads fixed, but they are getting money paid because of the inconvenience, the resettlement action plans, and also we are engaging them. There is a very active community engagement system in our place, because we have established that these infrastructure projects can bring adverse effects on the community in terms of prostitution, early child marriages, and child abuse. So that's one of the local contents. Yes. Now on the technology, for us we are at the high end. We've gone in and we are able to design, we are not using packages from outside. We are designing roads. We are, in fact, doing what we call a review, design review of these designs that come. We have trained people in 3D. We have CAD people. So as far as we are concerned, in Uganda, Ugandan firms, and we are about 5 of us at the cutting edge, we are able to produce as much as any foreign company can do. In fact, we are doing some of this work like Flow. We are working for them, not only for Uganda, but also for Ghana and other places. They send us work and we do it. So there's a lot of technology that is being transferred into our staff. And in fact, we have lost 3 staff to Total. They've had to go and join them. But that is because we have decided as private sector to make sure that we take the best as it lasts. It's a question of grabbing the opportunities as they come. Members who are here, ladies, you have to campaign for your positions. Nobody's going to give it to you. Nyakua.
Okay, thank you very much. I would just like to say that from a regulator's point of view, we push for technology transfer through emphasizing joint ventures. Joint venture, those very sophisticated engineering aspects and design aspects, we try to ensure that the companies chosen to do that, which are foreign, always work with national companies. And that's how we intend to get technology transfer. Finally, Mr. Ntomora, very briefly, you mentioned about low-level technology before we close.
Yes,
Can you have a quick short response?
Yes, moderator. That lady raised the issue of how can we help these people. What I understand is at the Ministry of Minerals, they are trying to assist the SMEs and the artisanal miners to use better technology. For example, right now, the use of mercury, they're trying, because mercury is poisonous. So they're trying to depart from the use of mercury for extraction of gold. They are using better methods, newer methods of extracting of gold. So there is an effort going on. Another thing which is going on is the government is urging the artisanal miners, come together and come, we will give you funding. But then they seem not to trust each other. So those are the challenges I mentioned. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, MC. I would now like to hand over to you. Thank you very much, the audience.
Thank you so much, our panelists, that you've bared with us till the end. Thank you so much. And at this point, I just want to take an opportunity to say thank you for all of you who stayed with us till the end. It's been a very long day, but I just thank you for your patience and that you've been able to stick it through. Asanteni sana kwa wote ambao mmeweza kukaa hadi muda huu. Tunashukuru sana, imekuwa ni siku ndefu, lakini mmeweza kuwa nasi na tunatumai kwamba mmeweza kupata mengi katika haya mazungumzo ya leo na kwamba tutaendelea kufanya mengi katika mahusiano yetu kati ya Tanzania na Uganda na kwamba yasiwe mazungumzo tu bali tuyafanyie kazi. So for now, I'm just going to give you a bit of housekeeping. The B2Bs are still going on until tomorrow. So there will be the B2Bs and exhibitions. They'll take place until tomorrow. And feel free to join. And if you want to meet any of the sectors, please feel free to go and meet them tomorrow. At the same time, from the organizers, since they have all your email addresses, they have created a group mail where they'll be keeping you up to date with what's happening from this forum and if there's any information to be shared. And in case, for example, somebody wants some of the lecture slides that were the PowerPoint presentations that were used here today, then you can get them through that. You can request for them through that. So I'm going to call my colleague, Morris, to wrap this up. And if there are any questions, And if there have been any shortfalls, shortcomings, please forgive us. And we'll do better next time.
Yes, thank you, Margaret. All right, so listen, I wanted to just do one or two things. First, any of the Ugandans who are still in this room, mine is to humbly request the Ugandans, and I hope I have your attention. We need to clap for our brothers and sisters from Tanzania for a fantastic reception. I don't want to tell you when I came. I've been here for so many days in the run-up to this conference. And every Tanzanian I met had love for me. Everyone, especially the guys at the hotel when I asked for an omelette. Yeah? But it's been fantastic. We love your food. We love the climate. And it's really raining, hailstorms in Kampala. So we are happy to be here and not in the rain in Kampala. But we want to thank you so much. And I also want, in a very special way, to request that we clap for all our moderators and panelists for this. When we asked them to speak at this forum, they knew they were speaking in the morning, they knew they were speaking before the presidents, and they knew they were speaking to a room full of technocrats and, members of the private sector. But honestly, we want to thank you for staying with us and sticking to the program. I also want, in a very special way, to request all of us, the delegates, to give a round of applause for the organizers of this forum. Let us appreciate the organizers. We want to thank all of you. We had a lot of media, both the local media and Ugandan media. We had over 20 journalists from Uganda, Kampala, who were here, and we wanted to appreciate them for making their way for this forum, but also the local media for the coverage they've given the forum over the last few weeks. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, to our service providers, I want to thank all of you for a job well done. You know yourselves, we have a long list, we won't go through you, but all of you, the Ugandan team and the local team, for a job well done. Now, I think it's only right that we appreciate the following: the Tanzanian High Commission in Kampala, Uganda, and the Uganda High Commission in Tanzania for this forum. That said, ladies and gentlemen, I need to mention the Tanzanian team is trying to put together something, and they're working with the High Commission, and there will be a form of closing ceremony tomorrow, but that will be communicated to the various offices responsible, especially the Tanzania team with the Private Sector Foundation and the Uganda Private Sector Foundation, and that will be managed with those of our delegates that will still be here in Tanzania, because most of them are leaving later tonight or early in the morning tomorrow. We want to thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. Asante sana. Good evening.
Margaret, mbona hujatangaza Margaret, nikwambia utangaze hiyo time ya saa 6 kesho.